The scene opens in a dimly lit interview room, heavy with tension. Just hours earlier, a tragic event had rocked a quiet community in Drew Heights Place, Ohio. Reports of gunfire had sent police rushing to the scene, where they found 21-year-old Jayad Hughes lying lifeless. As the investigation began, one question hung over the room like a cloud: who had pulled the trigger, and why? The story soon shifts to Reynoldsburg, a suburb just outside Columbus, Ohio, known for its ties to the military thanks to its proximity to Rickenbacker Air National Guard Base. The area combines suburban comfort with the challenges of urban life, including its fair share of crime. It was here that LaQuandra Williams lived and worked. A mother of 3 and the owner of a home healthcare business, LaQuandra had always worked late nights and long hours. Concerned for her safety, she made a fateful decision. She purchased 2 firearms, one for herself and one for her son, Jayad. Born in March 1979, LaQuandra was driven and entrepreneurial. Her business, Healing Hands and Hearts LLC, relied on her ability to travel. Her car wasn't just transportation, it was her livelihood. So when it went missing, it wasn't just a matter of inconvenience. It was a threat to her way of life. Jayad, born June 24, 2002, in Youngstown, Ohio, was a quiet yet confident young man with deep faith and love for gospel music. In 2022, he took a bold step toward independence by enlisting in the military. By early 2024, he had returned home on leave, but the warm reunion had soured. Tensions inside the apartment were rising. Mother and son clashed frequently. Disagreements became daily occurrences, and the once loving home had become a boiling point. The incident that would change everything started with something simple: a missing car. On that day, LaQuandra noticed her car was gone and sent a message to Jayad. His response was brief and dismissive. The vehicle was at his workplace, and he didn't want to talk about it. Hours later, when she returned home and found the car still missing, tempers flared. Inside the apartment were Jayad, her 2 daughters, and a male friend. She confronted her son, and the situation escalated. What began as a verbal argument quickly spiraled into chaos. According to her daughter's statements, LaQuandra was the first to grab a knife, waving it in anger. Her daughters tried to intervene. Eventually, Jayad disarmed her, but the tension didn't subside. Instead, LaQuandra stormed out of the apartment, yelling, "I'm going to show you something." Terrified, her daughters locked the door and called the police. They knew exactly where she was headed: her car, where she kept her handgun. Meanwhile, unaware of what was coming, Jayad began to gather his things and head for the door. But before he could leave, LaQuandra reappeared. As Jayad made his way out of the apartment, LaQuandra stepped from her vehicle. In an instant, everything changed. She drew her firearm and fired, striking her son in the back at close range. By the time police arrived, Jayad was unresponsive. He was rushed to the hospital in critical condition. LaQuandra was arrested on the spot and taken in for questioning. Inside the interrogation room, detectives were already armed with the daughter's chilling testimony. They knew what had happened. What they needed to understand was why. During the interview, LaQuandra appeared emotional, overwhelmed. She spoke of feeling threatened. She explained that she feared Jayad had a weapon. After all, she had given him one for his own protection. She claimed she felt physically overpowered during the earlier scuffle and feared for her life. But detectives pressed further. If Jayad was leaving, if he was unarmed, what threat did he pose? Her answers revealed a complex web of fear, anger, and deep emotional fatigue. Years of stress, family tension, financial hardship, and mental strain had pushed her to the edge. Still, nothing could justify what had happened. Eventually, detectives broke the news. Her son had not survived. LaQuandra broke down, consumed by a mix of grief, guilt, and disbelief. She was formally charged with murder and felonious assault. Her bond was set at $1 million. In the months that followed, her case moved swiftly through the courts. LaQuandra ultimately accepted a plea deal: life in prison with the possibility of parole after 18 years. This wasn't just a story of a crime. It was the unraveling of a family. A mother's fear turned into tragedy. A son's life was cut short, and a community left asking, what could have been done to prevent it?